Hey, Church Playbookers, it's Todd here with the Church Playbook. Happy Monday. And for those of you that are watching the replay, or for those of you that are watching on YouTube, welcome as well. So glad that we get a chance to hang out for a few minutes. It is Monday morning at the time of this recording, which means yesterday was Sunday, which means yesterday was church. And talking to some of my pastor friends, we had some mixed reviews about how Sunday went. Now, for me, I had not preached in a month. And so yesterday was my first day preaching. And so, and we do 3 services. So I've got to build up that endurance again to preach 3 services back to back to back. But we had a pretty decent Sunday. The challenge with where we are on the calendar is that you don't know if people were celebrating the 4th of July weekend this last weekend or next weekend, since the 4th of July is smack dab in the middle of the week. And so you have to be you got to kind of guard your heart a little bit when you show up to church. And we had several hundred people at church yesterday, but I'll tell you what, when we started each of our 3 services, I thought to myself, oh wow, it's gonna be a light Sunday. And for those of us that, especially if you're in a setup takedown environment during the summer, it's tough because you have less people to set up and take down. There might be less people in the worship experience, and you can go home on Sunday afternoon and just feel a little discouraged. In fact, I got a text from a very good friend of mine last night telling me just how discouraged he was. And this is their first summer. They recently launched their church their church plant, and so the initial launch was good, but summertime can be tough, especially when you have one service, and when you're even just missing 1 or 2 families, you feel it. So I just want to talk for a second about just how much I relate and resonate with this discouragement. The worst Sunday that I had was actually in the first year of our church plant, but it wasn't during the summer. We had some light Sundays for sure, but the worst Sunday for me personally was actually Thanksgiving weekend back in 2011. And I had a very good friend / mentor of mine filling in for me preaching, and we started our church with 2 services. And so it was the Sunday after Thanksgiving, so there's a lot of people out of town, or we had families that were they were in town, but they had family come in town as well, and so they just decided to maybe stay home that weekend. And so our first service was pretty light, but man, the second service we had 17 people. And my mentor and my friend had been hearing so many great things about our new church, and he was so excited to come preach. This was the first time we had him preach. And I just remember, like, oh my God. And I even announced for several weeks, oh yeah, my good friend's going to come and preach on Thanksgiving weekend. It's going to be awesome. You don't want to miss it. And oh my goodness, I went home so discouraged, so defeated. And so with that said, let me just give you a little a couple of things. I just want to give you a couple things from that experience that I learned, and then I'm going to let you get on with your Monday. And the first thing that I would encourage you to do when you come home on a Sunday where you're discouraged because, people just didn't show up on a given Sunday, like yesterday. First thing that I would encourage you to do is don't react. Don't react. I went home that Sunday and I drafted a letter and I put it on church letterhead, basically, admonishing is putting it mildly, but I really just gave my church the what for, about how they weren't being faithful and God expected better of us. And really it was just coming from a place of woundedness or embarrassment on my part, which really shows you where my heart was at 7 years ago. And so I had the good sense to walk across the street to my best friend's house, and I had printed off the letter, and I still have this letter, by the way. I just saw it a year ago and I just kind of chuckled. So I printed it off and I went over to my best friend's house and I said, hey, I want you to look at this and tell me what you think, because I'm going to send this out tomorrow morning. And so he read the letter and he kind of chuckled a little bit and he said, hey, it was a pretty tough Sunday, I know. But as your best friend, let me just tell you, whatever you do not send this letter. It says way more about you than it says about the church. And honestly, begrudgingly, I said, okay, fine, I won't send it. And then I went to sleep that night, and I woke up the next day so thankful that I didn't put that thing in the mail or send it out in an email. Sleep and rest are miracle workers when it comes to discouragement. So the second thing that I would encourage you to do, not only don't react, but don't quit. Just make the agreement with me right now, from one pastor to another, from one guy that's been there, done that. If you're ever going to quit, don't quit on a Monday. Because we all want to quit on Monday. Even the big mega church pastors go home discouraged sometimes on a Sunday, and they want to give up on a Monday. So let's just make an agreement, a covenant right now that you and I, if we ever decide to resign our position as pastor of our church, let's just not do it on a Monday, okay? And let's not do it because we're emotional or feeling discouraged. If we ever make a move like that, we want to make sure it's the call of God, not an emotion from our heart. So, listen, it's Monday, it's summertime, but I promise you, even if your people weren't at church yesterday, your church loves you. It's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your ministry. It is the reality of the calendar. It is the reality of the season. They will be back. So just hang in there. Take a deep breath. We got work to do. I just pulled into my office. I've got two. I'm preaching at our middle school, high school summer camp this Wednesday night, and I've got a message to prep for Sunday too. So let's take a deep breath and let's get back to work. God knows, God cares, and we're doing this for God's glory anyway. So hey, listen, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, throw them down in the comment section right now. Even if you're not watching live, even if you're watching on YouTube, even though this is not originally on YouTube, throw your questions in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe to this channel, and I promise, I personally will come and answer your questions. I love you guys a ton. I'm so grateful for your ministry. I'm so grateful for what you do. This world needs you. Our country needs you. Your community needs you. Your church needs you. Hang in there, and we'll see you soon.